talk about pop culture, we think of the pop culture we've experienced. But pop culture has been a thing since there was culture, and we've been getting vocab from pop culture for hundreds of years. Some pop culture words are so old and established their origins are obscured. Today's case in point is gangbusters. Gangbusters first showed up in the early 1900s to refer to cops or agents whose job was to break up gangs. America has had problems with organized crime almost since its founding, and while the 19th century saw plenty of gang-on-gang action, gangs gained widespread notoriety in the 20th century, with the rise of the mafia and the poster boy for gang violence, Al Capone. The tales of gang activity were so sordid and so compelling that they gave rise to true crime thrillers. Magazines like True Detective and Front Page Detective sprung up in the 1920s and 30s, and they were full of tales about Capone, Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, and Babyface Nelson.
Okay, folks, hold your applause and drop your drawers. I'm George Nelson, and I'm here to sack the city, eat a BUENA.
But for every bad guy, there had to be a good guy, and that good guy was called a gangbuster. The word gangbuster showed up in English in 1930, and the gangbuster became an instant hit. He was the subject of an eponymous 1931 crime comedy, and then rocketed to stardom with a 1935 radio show that came to be called Gangbusters.
Good evening. It's time once again to return to those exciting premiere days of radio as KRLD presents the story of another real-life crime fighter on Gangbusters.
Gangbusters ran until 1957 and was billed as the first true crime radio show. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was a somewhat reluctant consultant on the show, and in subsequent decades, various police chiefs and other real-life gangbusters lent their expertise to the stories.
Now, in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States,
the show was soon joined by other true crime radio shows. But what set Gangbusters apart was its iconic audio intro.
Gangbusters!
Blaring siren, the machine gun. One historian of old-time radio says that Gangbusters was the noisiest radio show on the air. And it shows. By the late 1930s, the phrases "like gangbusters" and "coming on like gangbusters" were both in use in gossip columns and society rags to refer to someone or something that was too loud, too strong, too aggressive, just too much, like the intro of the show. Nowadays, gangbusters generally implies success or growth, with almost no hint that it was once all about crime.